Here we are in episode 14. This is financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. Coaching happiness. When you change you change everything. Last week we talked about student loans and ruined futures. This week the pod is about income tax. Income tax, my income tax return, your return. Each and every one of us is a taxpayer, which makes it funny. Notice that normally April 15th, or the nearest Monday, is tax day. This year, because of COVID, it's been pushed back to May 17th. How does that impact you? You can find a ton of details about taxes at Wikipedia and Investopedia, among other places. I've added those two to today's show notes. The impact on you is far less than you probably think, and here's why. Personal income tax is something that we all have to pay if we're making money. Or, to look at it another way, if you have a tax bill, view yourself as lucky. It means that you're making money. The first thing that most people have in their mind is that money is property, and it sort of is property, so therefore they should not just give that away. Okay, I get that, but you're not going to get very far in court with it, at least not in most courts, so I'd recommend putting your focus on other things. In the book Joy, co-authored by the Dalai Lama and Bishop Desmond Tutu, we learn of the importance of laughing at things you cannot control. There's something to be said for letting that kind of thing go, to not twist your thinking into ways to make things better, like credits or even a refund, but instead recognizing and realizing the benefits of circulating money. Personally, I'd love to have a tax bill 100 times as high as I ever have. I'd love it if worldwide income was way higher than it is. Why? Because that translates into taxes on income being 100 times as high too. I'm not even going into federal income tax or state income tax, personal income taxes or business, individual income tax or joint or the different brackets, business expenses, medical expenses, and revenues or types of income. Don't focus on debt. If you want to get out of debt, focus on being out of debt. Always, even when you don't objectively want to do that. Remember the growth mindset. If you're doing well, then the IRS is going to want some of the action. It's that simple. If you don't want the IRS in your life, then have no action. Don't make money. Seriously, if you aren't doing well, no one would want any of what you've got. Get with the program. Think of how you would react. High income levels, high wages are a good thing for most households, and we'll be back with updates on that in a minute. Hello everyone, this is John with the Simple Success Podcast, financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. Because we know you want to show us some serious love in return for the tremendous benefits you get from us, please head over to https://anchor.fm/ simple success. That's one word, simple success, / support. There, you can choose from a $9.99 per month investor level of support, a $4.99% level, or a basic intro level of just 99 cents per month. That's not much when you compare it to a stockbroker, right? And this is so much more sensible. To leave us a voice message, which just might see the light of day in a future podcast, go to https://anchor.fm/ simple success. Again, one word, simple success, message. I won't repeat those links because weird. And anyway, show notes. In that spirit, today's episode is income tax. Once upon a time, and this is my favorite part of the show, our hero Kelly was caught in a difficult thought process about what to do next. Even though it was a beautiful day outside, with the sun streaming in through the windows, even though she felt warm in her chair, enjoying the surroundings in her room that she had created, the plants, the animals, she still found herself concerned and thinking about a future and an activity that she had to perform. Doing taxes. Yuck! Here she was, letting this cloud the enjoyment of her surroundings. Then came her epiphany. She didn't need to be so concerned about what other people thought, or what other people did. They weren't thinking. They probably weren't even doing. What she needed to do was think of her taxes as a cost or consequence of doing well. Lots of things can be a type of tax. Gossip and backstabbing are taxes on success. Bad internet is a tax on living remotely. It's all in how we look at things. We have all kinds of resources available, and Kelly had those too. Changing perspective takes off a lot more pressure than not, whether or not you're in the 9th income tax-free state. Take all the air out of the balloon, if you want to use that metaphor, and just make it into something small and minor and easy, and get it done. That's what Kelly did, and that's what you'll do too. Remember, breaking through means, to use that old phrase, becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable. And how we overcome that is right after the break. Let's get on with how to overcome this kind of problem. What to do and when and how to do it. Income tax. How do we put these things together? How will a guest, or me, or you address this? we overcome in a very, very easy way, which I promise does not involve even thinking about the various income tax systems around the world or the different forms of income we could have. Don't even get me started on people's refund status unless you want to take a nostalgia ride back to the 2008 financial crisis. Instead, we make it small. It's all a small part of what's going on, and we make it a small part of what's going on by building a bigger picture, by making that one task a small piece of that big picture, rather than being this big mountain. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. How's that for healthcare? Tasks can be just a small grain of sand in your day, and they can produce pearls. That's how a clam works, if you didn't know already. I'm calling on you to take action right now. That's today's cost of living. And I will give you a very specific example of something you can do coming up right after the break. Hint, it's not changing your filing status or your marital status, but it might increase your earnings. We're changing the way we look at things, and remember, that's good. Also remember, this is financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. Coaching happiness. Since a big part of that is your happiness, I'm going to walk down another street, one without rabbit holes. Sometimes I do that by calling on expert guests, but the most important person I could ever call on is you. In this Simple Success podcast, as well as in our webinars and masterclasses, we are very, very much going to want to hear your story. Well, to be real, I mean in future episodes of the podcast's webinars and masterclasses. This means you. Your participation is critical to our mutual simple success. It's important to know how you think, what you've thought, what you've tried, and what you've been unsure of trying. As we told you at the beginning, and as you also find in the show notes, we have ways you can contact us. It involves a special link where you can leave us a voice message, which just might see the light of day in a future podcast. We may have an email address for you as well in the future, and we'll let you know when that happens. Together, we're going to make it great. We're going to do what even we didn't think possible. We know a lot about you already because we know ourselves. For example, we know that you know how to listen to a podcast. We also know that you probably know how to subscribe. The reason every podcast asks you this is because when you subscribe, you automatically download all future episodes of that podcast. This means better rankings, more attention from advertisers, more money, and that means more and better stuff for you. So your motivation is simple and easy. Subscribe. Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Overcast, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. There is no try. There is only do. Remember, this is financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. Right after this, we'll explore some more important detail you should know. But for now, use your imagination to help create your story. And to remind you, everyone listening can head to that voice message link in the show notes to record a voice message for a future podcast. Anyway, as usual, we wrap up the story with a thing for you to do. Income tax. Here's how we're going to do this. The exercise we're going to complete for this is a deep state secret. The exercise we're going to complete for this is a deep state secret. I know this is just a podcast, but if I tell you in detail, I'll have to kill you, and you don't want to know how. Okay, JK, surprise! The answer involves getting somebody to do the taxes for you, and here's the step-by-step. Number 1, get an accountant. That can be a CPA, it can be an enrolled agent, if you know what that means, and if you don't know and want to know, please ask. The idea in a nutshell is delegation. I need a lot of delegation, and probably you do too. Most people do, and most people are really bad without it. I'm not taking anyone down with that. I'm simply raising the standard. There's a reason that only a few people are good at delegation, and that is that only a few people actually practice doing it. I'm considering getting a virtual assistant and figuring out what to offload to him or her. I want to do the same thing with all of my co-founders and team members, whether they are financial people or not. We all have roles we can fulfill to best help each other, and that's what we should do. Step 2, let everything else go. Step 3, free your mind. Step 4, go earn more money. Step 5, see step 1. Now, as with all exercises, I can tell if you did this. In most of our exercises, whether you did something or not, something I promise you is easy and will be obvious, but not so with this one. Don't sweat out the details like home office, business, and mileage deductions. Don't lose sleep over tax credits or your marginal tax rate. Let a good tax professional take care of that stuff, just to let them avoid real deductions to skip the dreaded red flags. If you can support what you claim, do it and don't worry about it. It's a great day, and we're just getting started. Next week, we're going to look at another concept, and that is behavioral psychology. As before, that got picked for me by my topics randomizer. So you know I'm not prepackaging this stuff, but instead making it relevant so we can all, me included, learn how to do this right. We're going to bring that into the world of investing, and it's going to be a great episode. But for now, remember, happy Save the Elephant Day. All you need to do is practice, after which you'll get good. Gracias por escuchar. A la prochaine. You're here in the Simple Success Podcast, where you've landed well in your search for financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. We come to you on a regular basis with podcasts, webinars, and masterclasses, together aimed at freeing you from the chains that the financial industry puts on all of us. Most of us don't even know what those chains are, and in this spirit, we're not going to waste time trying to solve problems people don't even know they have. Better, let's go up to common ground here. We can overcome, and we will do so. Join me for the ride of your life in a good way. For this podcast, the host and audio guy is me, John Brandy. My sequel example, and I'll explain that later, Shola, Salako, fact checker, Abraham Lincoln, French consultant, Virginia Mitchell, media expert, Favour, Obasi-Ike, psychologist, Sigmund, Freud, rabbit hole advisor, Dr. Marg, Perrott, sound designer, Gugliemo, Marconi, Spanish consultant, Cameron J.K. Brandy, and videographer, Alfred Hitchcock. Music credit, Cute by Ben Sound from www.freesound.org.